the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball.
All right, LA, thank you very much for tuning in.
This is Julius Randle.
Hey, it's Lonzo Ball.
And you're listening to Lakers Talk.
5 seconds left. Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
This is Coach Luke Walton. And you're listening to Lakers Talk on ESPN LA 710.
The fact that the Rockets hung with the Golden State Warriors gives me some hope for next season, and what I'm referring to about that is we obviously know the Cavs are going to play the Warriors starting on Thursday, and when LeBron James, as amazing as he's been this entire playoff run, 34-9-9 has been his playoff average, by the way, for those who don't know. His playoff average this season is 34-9-9. Granted, that's the Indiana Pacers, that's the Toronto Raptors, that's the Boston Celtics without Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. They get this far. They're back to the NBA Finals, but they haven't faced the Golden State Warriors, so I think obviously a lot of things are going to change. But looking at how the Warriors ran into some hurdles and the NBA playoff, how well that LeBron James has been playing in these playoffs, the 34-9-9, I kind of start wondering to myself this, Mario. This is the scenario that I'm starting to play into my head. Next season, obviously it's a big offseason. The two names that's been thrown around, it's LeBron James and Paul George. Lakers make all this cap space. They're trying to make it realistic. I think for the first time, I was watching that game yesterday between the Rockets and the Warriors, and I said that maybe if LeBron and Paul George came to the Lakers, maybe this Warriors team is more beatable than we ever thought. Maybe there actually is a chance where I would have said 2 weeks ago, a month ago, no. They still don't have any chance. You bring those two guys to the Lakers with the young core, you obviously lose Julius Randle, but even with all those mix of players, no, they still don't have a chance against the Warriors. But then watching the Warriors and the Rockets, there was a lot of basketball over that 7-game set where I don't think you looked at the Warriors and you kind of questioned, wait a minute, where's that team that's supposed to be the Golden State Warriors, that's supposed to just absolutely thrash every team in the way? What was that? Just, you think, Mario, you think that was more of a matchup because of the style, the way the Rockets play, or do you think the Warriors are, I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity for other NBA teams to finally look at the Warriors and say, you know what, that team is beatable?
I think that style that the Rockets play is perfect for to beat the Warriors. I mean, if CP3 doesn't go down, I think we got a good shot at being the Warriors.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to try and play out here, all right? Phone number is 877-710-ESPN. If you guys want to, this is a question I'm proposing. After watching the Warriors the last couple of weeks, and then watching what LeBron's been doing over the last couple of weeks, or even the last month since the playoffs started, where I thought before, even if a guy like LBJ and PG13 came to the Lakers, you still don't have a shot at the Warriors, I think it's probably much more realistic than you thought a couple weeks ago. Here's the one thing with LeBron. LeBron, obviously, doing what he's doing has been fantastic. It's been amazing, and I know those stats are, I don't want to say exaggerated. 34-9-9, you can't, there's no way to look at that stat line and not be completely impressed with what he's accomplished in these playoffs. But he's also having to do it on his own because the Cavs supporting cast is so awful. The Cavs supporting cast, I don't think, are nearly as good as the youth that the Lakers have and some of these young players that the Lakers have, and maybe the upside of what Brandon Ingram is going to be, or how Kyle Kuzma in his first season in the league put up 16 points a game and is today's prototypical NBA player. Lonzo, his vision. You know, I could just go up and down the list of some of the young players that the Lakers have. But I never gave it too much thought, nor did I ever look at LeBron James as a realistic kind of destination for the Lakers. But Funches, they came out. They got a new so they came out now. Vegas came out with the new odds for the
yeah, they did.
You see that?
They're always on it, yes.
All right, so here's what they got. They got 76ers at plus 150.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Cavs at plus 175.
Yes.
Rockets at plus 250.
Uh-huh.
And the Lakers at plus 550.
Yikes. If I'm a gambling man, I probably would put a little bit on the Lakers.
So the Lakers are now there's other teams below, obviously the Lakers, but the Lakers were,
I believe the Clippers are like plus 1,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So basically the Lakers at plus 550 are the fourth option, let's just say hypothetically in Vegas's world of how they're putting or how they're ranking teams that have the best chance to get LeBron James. But the one thing that to me is, I think, becoming more and more clear is whatever LeBron does this summer, he has to give himself the best opportunity to win an NBA championship. It's not going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, first of all, Boston's taken over starting next year in the Eastern Conference. So you might as well wrap up the East, because once Kyrie does come back, all the assets that they still have, now all of a sudden these players that, weren't supposed to be getting the amount of playing time that they were, you can pretty much wrap up the Eastern Conference. Now, LeBron can change that by going to a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, where you got Embiid, you got Ben Simmons, and some of these other players, but that's not a lock to beat the Boston Celtics either. What LeBron needs to do is figure out a way to get to a team that has a chance against the best team in the league, which is the Golden State Warriors. And I don't think I ever looked at the Warriors as a team that's beatable, and now all of a sudden, I think they're beatable. A little bit later, I'm going to have Michael Thompson come on, obviously son of Klay Thompson and our color commentator on the Lakers radio broadcast, to just talk a little bit about the Warriors and why all of a sudden they found themselves in the 7-game series, and maybe without an injury to CP3, maybe they're not even in the NBA Finals. I found that pretty shocking. So MT will come on at 8:30. Eric Pincus will come on at 7:30. I'll ask Pincus about some of the scenarios for LeBron James. I know Houston Rockets are very high on that list as well. What would the Rockets have to do to land a guy like LeBron? What would the Lakers have to do to land a guy like LeBron? Not just land a guy like LeBron, but how they could maybe potentially even keep Julius Randle if they got Paul George. Obviously, these are all just scenarios that were thrown out there, but it's what came to mind. What's on tap tonight on Lakers Talk is sponsored by Pocock Brewing. Visit pocockbrewing.com to see what's on tap right now in their tasting room. Pocock Brewing Company. Embrace life. Drink good beer. All right, phone number is 877-710-ESPN. Have you seen anything over these last couple of weeks that would make you think that all the cap space that this front office has made available this summer can potentially put a scenario out there where the Lakers could beat the Golden State Warriors? We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. This is Lakers Talk on ESPN LA. So Mario, on what was it, Sunday night? Cavs and Celtics was Game 7 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So everything kind of I got scared, not going to lie to you. I was talking about how I didn't want to see the same movie about 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
And then everything kind of dawned on me, and I was like, bro, you better start rooting for the Cavs, because the concern was, what if the Rockets took Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors? Now all of a sudden, you would have had a scenario where Boston probably had a legitimate chance to win a championship. So luckily none of that unfolded, but I was a little concerned there. But two very, very good. I mean, what started off to be all just blowouts ended up being two great rounds. The Eastern Conference Finals I thought was very entertaining with Boston and Cleveland, and then obviously the Golden State Warriors and the Rockets were entertaining as well. I didn't expect by any stretch of the imagination the Rockets to hang with the Warriors, and I don't expect the Cavs to hang with the Warriors. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully we have a series, but that was one of the things I was jumping into. Phone number is 877-710-ESPN, because for the first time we've seen that, maybe the Warriors are beatable. If they are, can a combination of LeBron, Paul George, and the rest of the young kids actually compete for an NBA championship and, potentially dethrone the Golden State Warriors? That's just assuming they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go to Eric in Oxnard. You're on Lakers Talk. Go ahead, Eric.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you.
I just got a couple of things. One, I think that we kind of saw that. First of all, the Warriors were obviously not in the healthiest form that they have been. But I think you kind of saw where Kevin Durant didn't step up as much as in big moments as we would have liked to see. And I think that's something like a weakness that I kind of feel is there. As if LeBron were to join Chris Paul and James Harden in Houston, and they could be a little more physical with the Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant doesn't like that. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Well, that's what the Cavs are going to have to try and do, too. They're going to have to be as physical as possible. But there were moments during that series against the Rockets where, Durant didn't look like he wanted that moment. Durant didn't look like, just give me the ball, everybody get out of the way, I'm KD. But that almost reminded me of some of his time when he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Against the Warriors, actually, when they played that Game 6 game, Thunder versus the Warriors, where KD didn't step up in that game in OKC.
Right, exactly, and that kind of goes with his mentality. I mean, I think from a fan standpoint, a fan of the NBA, we kind of even saw with the off season how he was kind of trying to justify, and this is going to like psychologically, but like on Twitter and stuff, he was like hiding behind a fake Twitter name and stuff like that. I know it's kind of weird, but I'm just saying this guy isn't as mentally tough, and that's what keeps him out of the conversation of being the best player in the NBA. We all say he's one of the best scorers, one of the best guys in the NBA, but something mentally is not clicking there for him. And I think in moments where Steph Curry isn't as healthy and Klay Thompson's battling some injuries, he almost not play in Game 6 or something like that. And, you kind of need a guy to come in and be a bulldog, and I think that's where Draymond Green had to, like, bump him in the chest a couple times in the first few minutes of Game 7.
Just wake him up a little bit. Yep, wake him up a little bit. Appreciate the call. One of the things I'll say about KD, look, I don't question how talented KD is, how good KD is. He is literally top 3 in the NBA. Maybe you want to put Kawhi in that conversation, but obviously LeBron is one and everybody else follows. But there's some players in big moments where they rise, and then there's some players where they kind of, I would say they minimize themselves in some capacity. And I don't know if I fully understand or think KD is that player that takes that moment and takes his game to another level. The question I'll go back to, I just heard somebody right now saying, Eric was just talking about in Oxnard, how taking Kevin Durant, taking LeBron James, putting him on the Houston Rockets would give them probably the best chance to go up against the Golden State Warriors. But the more I think about it, if LeBron and PG13 came to the Lakers, which has been the original game plan since Magic and Pelinka came over, why can't that team hang with the Golden State Warriors? I was looking at the actual lineups. Now, here's what I got, Mario. If you look at the actual lineups, all right, you had Steph going up against Lonzo. You got Klay and PG13. You got Durant and Ingram. You got Draymond and LeBron, and you got Iguodala versus Kuzma. I know the Lakers don't have much experience. I know 3 out of those guys have never even been to the postseason, so I know that's a tough one to fully understand, and experience might be the one thing that kind of holds back that type of an opportunity for the Lakers. But the reality is, after watching the Golden State Warriors, I've never felt more confident that there's probably a team by the time next summer rolls around, based on some of these acquisitions, the Warriors might not be that team that everybody was anticipating would hold on to, pretty much have no shot. No team would have any shot against going up against the Warriors for the next 3 to 4 years. All right, let's go to Mike in Sherman Oaks. You're on Lakers Talk. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks for taking my call. There has to be a Herculean effort by the Lakers front office to get LeBron. And your point about no experience in the Lakers present personnel is right on the money. Also, Lonzo Ball has to be gone. Gone. Any because of his dad, LeVar, having battles with and insulting LBJ. And here's the third element: there has to be 2 All-Stars coming with LBJ, not 1. So because just Paul George, that's not going to do it. And you got to keep Julius Randle. He's your Tristan Thompson. He's your muscle there. He's turned into a great player, a keeper. If not, your assertion that he's the best place for him to end up is the place where he's not going to. LBJ is not where he's going to spend the rest of his life, which is Los Angeles. Is Houston. Houston, they're war tested. They're ready. If Chris Paul was there,
yeah, they're the next team up. They're the next team. Mike, one quick question. So why Lonzo Ball? If you're upset about Lonzo's dad, why is Lonzo Ball the one that has to get traded? I mean, can't we just ignore anything that LeVar says? Because really, at the end of the day, we shouldn't pay attention to what LeVar is saying?
No. He is a disruptor. He insults the locker room, the integrity, and the head coach of the Lakers. He is gone. I would put over 50% chance that Lonzo Ball is a tradable asset. And when you talked about him guarding Steph Curry, come on. Are you kidding? He's not even in the same breath of air.
Well, of course he's not. I mean, he's a rookie.
Lonzo
I mean, he's going to be going into his second season.
League. Mm-hmm. He had a great summer league, but he missed over a third of the games. And really, there's a lot of smoke, but not a lot of substance to Lonzo's game. Maybe in 4 years, maybe not. But his dad is a liability, and when he starts talking about that the coaches lost the locker room, that's really, he's a troublemaker.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Mike. Okay, one thing I will say is, I'm definitely not a fan when LeVar does say stuff about the organization, at least publicly. That I cannot stand. I tweeted something out when he took a shot at basically saying some of the workouts the Lakers were doing with Gunnar Peterson. He was not a big fan of. I just hate when that stuff goes publicly. I mean, this is where Lonzo works. This is Lonzo's day-to-day. Please do not make comments when it comes to that. But to trade away Lonzo Ball because of his dad, that's never actually dawned in my mind. I know some Laker fans have thought of that. Some Laker fans have said to themselves, you know what, at the end of the day, you cannot, LeVar Ball is too much of a sideshow. He's too much of a nuisance. Makes too much noise that you got to get rid of Lonzo. I don't put the two together. Lonzo Ball is his own man. Lonzo Ball, obviously, some of the characteristics that he has on the basketball court, I'm not worried about Lonzo Ball. I actually really look forward to what Lonzo is going to be this upcoming season and moving forward. I was out there at the Lakers practice facility today. You had Jello practicing, so he was part of that kind of a media scrum as well. I got some of that sound. If you guys want to hear it, you can go to my Twitter account, at Lakers Talk ESPN. Let me grab one more call here. Greg in Ventura, you're on Lakers Talk. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Alan, I agree with you on the last take that you had, and I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Do you remember in the All-Star break how they had the two guys selecting the team members, LeBron James and Steph Curry?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who did LeBron select first?
Took KD.
Thank you very much. Now, is KD a free agent if he wants to be?
So technically, yeah, he can opt out of his contract with the Golden State Warriors.
Okay, and is LeBron a free agent if he wants to be?
Both of them will be free agents. Where are we going?
Thank you very much.
Where are we going with this one?
Now, what would the Lakers be able to do to have both of those guys come in? They don't have to trade a single player, and they could have LeBron and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would come down from the Golden State Warriors, where he's received criticism for being a guy that joined a already great team, and he would show that he and LeBron could bring a championship to the Lakers if they would team up together. What do you think?
Well, I appreciate the call. I'll tell you this. I think KD is going to stay exactly where he is. I think that him going up to the Bay Area and playing under Coach Steve Kerr and kind of that system and the way they slotted him in, and he knows he's got Draymond Green and he knows he's got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. I think he's going to stay. I could be wrong, but I think he's going to stay with the Golden State Warriors for at least as long as they can kind of ride this thing out. They're moving into a new stadium, that Chase Arena or whatever it is. I think he stays there. But I do think that LeBron's going to have to go somewhere. I mean, let's watch these NBA Finals. They start on Thursday. They got another game on Sunday. So by the time we do the next show, we'll already be 2 games in. I'd love to say that the Cavs got some kind of a shot, but I don't think they do. And because they don't have a shot, I think what's going to happen as well is LeBron will eventually find his way out of the Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. But the question then becomes, where can he put himself where he actually gives himself a chance to win an NBA championship? Sanjay in OC, you're on Lakers Talk. Go ahead, Sanjay.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, man. Thank you.
Hey, so, everyone's talking about LeBron coming to the Lakers. I think, the media beats up on this guy so much that if he comes to L.A., he's going to be compared to Kobe. how many rings he's got. And, the problem is the comparisons are unfair. I don't think he's going to want to put up with that, to be honest with you.
I think at this point in LeBron's career, I really actually believe this. I don't think it matters anymore. I think all the conversation, all that stuff means nothing anymore. The guy's trying to win an NBA championship. It's not going to happen with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I didn't think there was an opportunity for it to happen with the Lakers, but I think in my mind things are kind of changing a little bit. That the likelihood that the Lakers, with the young roster that they have, I don't think there'd be a way to keep Julius Randle, but I think all of a sudden, if the Lakers can, obviously it's a big task and much less likely than likely to get a guy like Paul George and LeBron James. I think all that matters is winning championships. And if LeBron thinks he can find a way to get to the Houston Rockets and win an NBA championship, or the Philadelphia 76ers and win an NBA championship, I think that's probably what he does moving forward. He can't be 34-9-9. For next year's team and still have a chance at a championship. It all can't just be on his shoulders. All right, Eric Pincus, Bleacher Report, also NBA capologist. I'm going to have him come on next. He's going to explain some different scenarios. What would the Lakers have to do to get a guy like LeBron? What if he went to the Houston Rockets? What would the Rockets have to do? And we'll talk about the NBA Finals as well. Stay right here. This is Lakers Talk on ESPN LA.